Welcome to English Matura with JB, the podcast where every lesson is an adventure and every challenge is a call to grow. I'm your host, JB, and together we'll embark on the hero's journey through literature, language, and life itself.
From the first call to adventure in epic stories to the moments of triumph in your own studies, this is where you'll find the courage, wisdom, and inspiration to master English, not just for the exam, but for the road ahead.
Joining us in the studio are Veronica and Miles, your hosts for today.
You know, Miles, I was watching a movie last night, and I had this weird sense of déjà vu, like I'd seen the exact same story 100 times before. It's almost like there's a secret blueprint everyone is using.
That's because there actually is. It's called the hero's journey, or the monomyth. It's this timeless framework that Joseph Campbell discovered by looking at myths from all over the world. It's so universal that experts estimate over 90% of modern stories, from Hollywood blockbusters to personal memoirs, follow these same 12 stages.
90%? That's wild. So whether it's a hobbit in Middle-earth or a superhero in a cape, they're all technically walking the same path?
Exactly. It's a roadmap of transformation that moves a character from their comfortable, ordinary world into a realm of chaos and back again. It's not just about the adventure, though. It's about the psychological change that happens along the way.
I'm ready to see how this works in the stories I love. Let's dive into these 12 stages and see how a hero actually finds their way home.
It really starts with that ordinary world, that baseline where the hero is just living their life. But the thing about the ordinary world is that it's usually not perfect. There's almost always this underlying restlessness, a sense that something is missing, or that the hero has outgrown their surroundings. Think about Luke Skywalker on that moisture farm on Tatooine. He's staring at the twin suns, just aching for something more, even if he doesn't know what it is yet.
Right, he's stuck. And it's that feeling of being stuck that makes the call to adventure so necessary. It's the disruption, the moment the status quo is shattered. In Star Wars, it's R2-D2 showing up with that holographic message from Princess Leia. Suddenly, the galaxy isn't just a far-off idea. It's literally in his living room.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is that the call doesn't always have to be a literal message from a princess. In a more grounded story, like a memoir or a drama, it could be a job loss, a health diagnosis, or even a chance encounter that changes everything. It's the inciting incident. It's the universe tapping you on the shoulder and saying, hey, it's time to move. But here's the kicker. Most heroes don't actually want to go at first.
Oh, I definitely wouldn't. The refusal of the call feels like the most human part of the whole journey. We're wired for comfort, right? Why would anyone willingly trade their bed and a hot meal for a trek through a wretched hive of scum and villainy?
You've hit the nail on the head. The refusal is vital because it shows the hero's internal conflict. It makes them relatable. If they just jumped up and said, sure, I'll go fight the evil empire, we wouldn't believe them. We need to see that fear, that hesitation. Luke initially tells Obi-Wan he can't go because he has work to do on the farm. He's clinging to the familiar because the unknown is terrifying.
It's like that psychological barrier, the gatekeeper of our own ego. We tell ourselves we aren't ready, or we aren't the one. But usually, the story forces the hero's hand. Something happens that makes staying in the ordinary world impossible.
Precisely. Usually, the stakes are raised until the cost of staying put is higher than the cost of leaving. For Luke, it's the tragic destruction of his home. Once that threshold is crossed, there's no farm to go back to. The bridge has been burned, sometimes literally. And that's when the mentor usually steps in to provide the tools or the wisdom needed for the next step. It's that nudge from someone who's been there before, someone like Obi-Wan or Gandalf, who says, you have what it takes, you just don't know it yet.
So, once the hero finally stops dragging their feet and accepts the quest, they have to actually leave, right? Like physically and metaphorically stepping out of the front door.
That's crossing the first threshold. It's the point of no return. You're leaving the ordinary world and entering the special world. And the rules in this new place, they're completely different. Think about Harry Potter stepping on platform 9 3/4.
One minute he's in a dingy train station in London, and the next he's in a realm where owls deliver mail and paintings talk. It's a total shift in reality.
I love that image. It's so cinematic. But it's not just a change of scenery, is it? It's a commitment. You're telling the universe, okay, I'm in.
Spot on. And often this transition is guarded. Campbell calls it the belly of the whale, that moment where the hero is fully swallowed by the adventure. It's the first real taste of danger, where they realize, oh, this isn't a game. In Star Wars, this is the Mos Eisley Cantina. It's loud, it's dangerous, and Luke realizes very quickly that his farm boy sensibilities don't apply here. He has to adapt, or he won't survive the hour.
It's like a second birth. You're being compressed by the situation until you come out the other side as someone new. But you aren't a hero yet. You're just a traveler at this point.
Exactly. You're raw. You're untested. This is where Act 2 really kicks off, and it's usually the longest part of any story. It's the road of trials. This is where the hero meets tests, allies, and enemies. Think of it like a training montage, but with much higher stakes. You're learning who you can trust, like Han Solo and Chewbacca, and who's trying to kill you.
And these tests aren't just there for action, right? They're teaching the hero the skills they'll need for the final showdown. Every stormtrooper Luke dodges is a lesson in how to use the Force, or just how to stay alive under pressure.
Right. And it's not just physical skills, it's psychological growth. The hero has to face their own inadequacies. They might fail a few of these early tests. In fact, they should fail. If they're perfect from the start, there's no journey. We want to see them struggle. We want to see them doubt themselves, because that makes the eventual transformation feel earned. It's that middle section of the story where the special world tests your resolve. Are you really who you say you are? Or are you going to run back to the belly of the whale the first chance you get?
It seems like once the hero is in the special world, the pressure just keeps ratcheting up. It's not just one test, it's a whole series of them. I think the sources called this the road of trials, right?
Exactly. And in a good story, these trials aren't random. They're specifically designed to chip away at the hero's old identity. If the hero started out as someone who was afraid of responsibility, the trials will force them to lead. If they were arrogant, the trials will humble them. It's like a spiritual forge. You're being heated up and hammered into a new shape.
That sounds intense, but it's not all just fighting monsters and dodging traps. There are these deeper, almost mystical encounters too. I saw something in the notes about a meeting with the goddess. That sounds very Joseph Campbell.
It is. Campbell was all about the archetypes. The goddess represents a moment of total unconditional love or a profound connection that gives the hero a glimpse of what they're fighting for. It's a moment of peace in the middle of the storm. It's not always a literal goddess. It could be a romantic interest, a mother figure, or just a moment of deep spiritual clarity. It's the hero realizing that there is beauty and wholeness worth protecting.
But then there's the flip side of that, right? The temptress.
Right. The woman as temptress. Though again, in modern stories, it's rarely just about a literal woman. It's about anything that tempts the hero to abandon the quest. It could be the offer of a comfortable life, a lure of power, or even just the temptation to give up because the path is too hard. It's the easy way out. The hero has to look at that temptation and say, no, the mission matters more than my personal comfort.
It's like that internal tug of war. You've seen the goddess, the potential for greatness, and now you're being tempted by the temptress, the pull of your old selfish desires. And that all leads to the approach to the inmost cave.
That's the preparation for the big one. The inmost cave is the place where the ultimate danger lies. It's the Death Star. It's the villain's lair. But more importantly, it's the place where the hero's greatest fear lives. Before they go in, there's usually a moment of reflection, a breather where the hero and our allies gather their wits and make a plan. The stakes are clear. If they fail here, everything is lost.
It's the emotional breath before the plunge. You're standing at the edge of the abyss, looking down, and deciding that you're going to jump anyway. You're not the same person who left the farm anymore. You're beaten and bruised, as one of the sources put it, but you're still standing. And that's when you realize the only way out is through.
This is it.
The supreme ordeal. This is the midpoint crisis, or the major climax, where the hero faces their greatest fear. And I mean really faces it. This isn't just another skirmish. This is a life or death moment. Campbell actually describes this as a death and rebirth.
Literal death? Or is it more of a symbolic thing?
It can be both. Sometimes the hero actually dies and is resurrected. Think of Neo in The Matrix, or even Gandalf. But more often, it's the death of the old self, the part of the hero that was holding them back. The fear, the ego, the doubt. That part has to die so the hero can be born. In Star Wars, this is the moment Luke is in the trash compactor, literally underwater, facing a monster he can't see. He's at his absolute lowest point, completely out of his element.
And that's where the transformation happens. You're stripped of everything. Your tools, your mentor. Obi-Wan is gone by this point, and it's just you versus the abyss.
Exactly. And the only way to survive the ordeal is to use everything you've learned. You have to find that inner force. If you survive, and it's never a guarantee in the audience's mind, you earn the reward. This is seizing the sword. It could be a literal object, like the Death Star plans, or it could be a profound piece of knowledge or insight.
Like Luke realizing he can trust the Force. That's a huge internal reward. It changes his entire motivation from, I'm trying to help, to, I know what I have to do.
Precisely. The reward is the elixir, or the boon that the hero went on the quest to find. But here's the thing. The story isn't over just because you got the prize. Now you have to get out. This is the road back. And often the villain isn't just going to let you walk away with the treasure.
Right. The Death Star is exploding. TIE fighters are everywhere, and you're racing against the clock. It's that high-stakes escape. But it's also a psychological transition. You've changed inside, but now you have to bring that change back to the ordinary world. You're moving from the special world of adventure back toward the mundane world of home, and that transition can be just as dangerous as the ordeal itself. You're carrying a boon that could change the world, but only if you can survive the trip back.
So you're on the road back, you've got the prize, but there's one final hurdle. This is the resurrection. It's like the final exam. You've had the supreme ordeal at the midpoint, but the resurrection is the ultimate showdown. This is where the hero is tested one last time to prove that their transformation is permanent.
It's like the universe saying, okay, you think you've changed. Let's see if you can handle this.
Exactly. It's the climax of the entire story. Think about Luke in the trench of the Death Star. He's got Vader on his tail, his friends are being shot down, and he has to make a choice. Use the targeting computer, the older world tool, or trust the Force, the special world wisdom. He switches off the computer. That's the moment of resurrection. He's letting go of his old self completely and becoming the Jedi he was meant to be.
It's so powerful because everything is on the line. If he misses, the rebellion is wiped out. It's not just about him anymore. It's about the elixir he's bringing back, the hope for the whole galaxy.
Right. And resurrection often involves a final symbolic death. The hero might face a moment where they have to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. Even if they don't literally die, they've reached a point where they would die for the cause. That's what makes them a true hero. Once the villain is defeated and the threat is neutralized, we move into the return with the elixir.
And the elixir is the boon they're bringing home, right? It could be a literal cure for a plague, or it could just be wisdom.
Exactly. It's the treasure that heals the ordinary world. In Star Wars, the elixir is the destruction of the Death Star and the renewed sense of possibility for the galaxy. But notice how Luke is different when he returns. He's not the whiny farm boy anymore. He's a commander. He's a hero. He's master of two worlds.
Master of two worlds. I love that phrase. It means he can navigate the special world of the Force and the ordinary world of the rebels. He's integrated the two. He's found balance.
That's the goal of the entire journey. It's not just about the adventure. It's about wholeness. The hero has seen the darkness, faced it, and brought back the light. They've grown, they've matured, and now they have the freedom to live. They've conquered their fears, so they aren't afraid of the future anymore. They can exist in the moment, knowing they've fulfilled their purpose. It's a complete character arc, from stuck to transformed.
We've been talking a lot about Star Wars, which is like the textbook example. But I'm curious, how does this work in stories that aren't epic space operas?
Like, does a romance novel or a gritty detective story still follow this path?
It absolutely does. That's the beauty of the monomyth. It's a universal blueprint. In a romance, the ordinary world might be a character who's lonely or cynical about love. The call to adventure is meeting that special someone who challenges their worldview.
Oh, I see. And the refusal would be them making excuses, like I'm too busy for a relationship or I don't do commitment.
You've got it. The test's allies and enemies are the awkward first dates, the meddling friends, or the jealous exes. The inmost cave is that moment of deep vulnerability where they have to admit they've fallen in love. And the ordeal? That's the big fight or the misunderstanding that threatens to tear them apart.
So the reward is the reconciliation, the moment they realize they're better together, and the resurrection is them making a permanent change to make the relationship work.
Exactly. And in a horror movie, the special world is the haunted house or the woods where the killer is. The ordeal is the final girl or guy facing the monster. The elixir is the survival and the knowledge that they have the strength to overcome pure evil. Even in a mystery, the detective's journey mirrors this. The call is the crime. The trials are the clues and the red herrings. The ordeal is the confrontation with the killer.
It's even in memoirs. We see people writing about their real-life struggles, like overcoming an addiction or a loss. Their ordinary world is the life before the crisis. The journey is the healing process. The elixir is the wisdom they share with the reader at the end.
That's why we're wired for it. It mirrors human growth. We all leave our ordinary worlds every time we start a new job, move to a new city, or face a big challenge. We all have mentors who help us, trials that test us, and ordeals that force us to change. The hero's journey isn't just a story structure, it's a map of the human experience. It's how we make sense of our own transformations.
So, if the hero's journey is this secret blueprint for 90% of stories, what about the other 10%? Are there stories where this structure actually doesn't work?
That's a great question. And the answer is yes. Sometimes trying to force a story into these 12 stages can make it feel stiff or artificial. Some writers treat it like a checklist instead of a flexible framework, and that's where they get into trouble.
Like, okay, it's page 30, time for the mentor to show up.
Exactly. And if the story doesn't need a mentor at that moment, it feels forced. There are also whole types of stories that don't follow the monomyth arc. Think about survival stories, where the goal isn't necessarily transformation, but just staying alive. Or ensemble stories, where there isn't one single hero, but a whole group of people whose arcs are all intertwined.
Right. Or those slice-of-life stories where nothing huge happens, but you just follow a character through their day. Those don't really have an inmost cave or a supreme ordeal, do they?
Usually not. And then there's the heroine's journey, which some theorists, like Maureen Murdoch, argue is different. They suggest that while the hero's journey is often about external achievement and conquest, the heroine's journey is more about internal healing and reconnecting with lost parts of the self. It's more circular than linear.
That's an interesting distinction. It's more about integration than victory. And what about anti-heroes, like a character who doesn't actually grow or change for the better by the end?
Those are tragedies. In a tragedy, the hero might follow the steps, but they fail at the ordeal, or they refuse to return with the elixir. They might get the reward, but use it for the wrong reasons. The arc goes down instead of up. It's a cautionary tale rather than an inspirational one.
So, the hero's journey is a tool, not a straitjacket.
Precisely. It's a guidepost. If you're a writer and your story feels flat, you might look at the structure and realize, oh, I skipped the refusal of the call, so the stakes don't feel real. Or I don't have a road of trials, so the hero's victory feels unearned. But you shouldn't be afraid to bend the rules or skip steps if it makes for a better, more authentic story. The goal is emotional resonance, not structural perfection.
We've talked a lot about movies and myths, but I want to bring this back to us, the people listening. How can we actually use this hero's journey framework in our own lives?
I love this part because it turns storytelling into self-development. The first step is to identify your ordinary world. What's your current status quo? Where do you feel stuck or unaware of your potential? Maybe it's a career path that doesn't fulfill you, or a habit you can't seem to break.
Okay, so then you look for the call to adventure. What's the disruption in your life right now? Is it a new opportunity you're afraid to take? A problem you've been ignoring?
Right. And embrace the refusal. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to hesitate. That fear is just proof that the journey is significant. But then, look for your mentors. Who are the people, or even the books or mentors, providing you with the tools and wisdom you need? Don't try to go it alone. Every hero has help.
And once you cross the threshold, once you commit to that new project or that life change, expect the road of trials. Expect it to be hard. Expect to meet enemies, which, let's be honest, are often just our own inner critics or doubts.
All eyes are huge here too. Find your team. And when you hit your inmost cave, that moment where it feels like everything is going wrong, remember that it's the supreme ordeal. It's the darkest point before the dawn. It's designed to transform you. You have to let that old version of yourself die so the new, stronger version can emerge.
And then don't forget the return. If you've learned something big, if you've seized the sword, don't just keep it to yourself. Bring that elixir back to your community. Use your wisdom to help others. That's what makes you a hero in real life. It's the contribution you make after the struggle.
It's about seeing the pattern. When you're in the middle of a trial, it's easy to feel like you're just suffering. But if you can step back and say, wait, I'm just in the road of trials phase, it gives you perspective. It gives you the strength to keep going because you know there's a reward on the other side. You aren't just lost, you're on a journey. And every setback is just pacing for your eventual resurrection.
Miles, this has been such an eye-opener. I'm never going to look at a movie or my own life the same way again. It's like having X-ray vision for stories.
It really is. Once you see the blueprint, you see it everywhere. But the most important thing to remember is that the hero's journey isn't about being perfect or superhuman. It's about being human and willing to change. It's about courage, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite it.
I love that. It's about transformation. We're all heroes in the making, just waiting for that call to pull us out of our ordinary worlds.
And the journey is never truly over. We finish one return with the elixir, and eventually another call will come. We're always growing, always evolving. As Campbell said, it's a monomyth, one story with 1,000 faces. Your face is one of them.
So, to everyone listening, next time you feel like you're in the middle of a crisis, ask yourself, where am I on the journey? Are you refusing the call? Are you in the belly of the whale? Or are you approaching the inmost cave? Just knowing where you are can change your entire narrative.
You're the author of your own story, but you're also the protagonist. Use this roadmap to navigate the chaos. And remember, the goal isn't just to survive the adventure, but to come back changed.
Thanks so much for diving into this with me, Miles. It's been a blast.
Absolutely, Lena. It's been a real journey.
And thank you for listening. We hope this gives you a new lens to view the stories you love and the one you're currently living. Take a moment today to reflect on your own ordinary world. Is there a call you've been ignoring? Maybe it's time to cross that threshold. Whatever path you're on, remember that the journey itself is the reward. Thanks for joining us.